we can basically write a new category ourselves and set the standard where it needs to be, we're basically giving the foundation to any future states that we're in.
Welcome to Profession Session. I'm your host, Brody Vinson, and in this show, I highlight professionals of all kinds, whether it be business owners, entrepreneurs, corporate stars, all types of professionals that are really leading their field. I have Alex Wright on today of Pups Pub Orlando and Pups Pub Tampa. And we're going to talk a little bit about just how Pups Pub came to be and a little bit of the process leading up to it, because you've had a lot of success, and I've been incredibly impressed by it.
Thank you. I appreciate you putting all the dog stuff out here for me.
Oh, of course.
I got you in the Bad Mother Pupper outfit.
You do. So I've got the Bad Mother Pupper shirt and the bandana on. I'm representing thanks to this guy.
Typically the bandana's on the dog, but I like it.
I'm giving this to my dog right after. He's going to have it eventually, but we've got the Pups Pub cups as well. And you are huge on branding.
That's my thing. So it's fun. I wanted to be a differentiator as far as, when you come to the bar, other than, of course, the dog component. But, that was a big thing that we got into with Pups Pub is the dog bar concepts do exist, and they have before Pups Pub was created, but we just felt like it was, not to say underwhelming, but just so much left on the table.
Yeah.
And, people obviously love their dogs. We've done a ton of research. People are waiting later in life to have kids or not at all, and they're spoiling their dogs. And
I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah, for sure. Dog apparel, dog chains, you name it. You got these dogs who are living better lives than us. So I, lean into that, and that's what we try to do with Pups Pub, and just brand as much as we can is not just for the dogs, but also for the people, because eat that shit up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we talked about this a little bit. You have a background in sales and marketing, you said, that kind of led into this. Could you talk about that a little bit, like how you got started in that?
For sure. So that's always been kind of a passion of mine, the creative stuff, whether it be just like art and stuff like that. But, once I get out of the Air Force, I went into sports marketing. So
thank you for your service, by the way. I didn't know about that.
But so once I got out, I knew I wanted to get into sports. So I went to the University of Tampa finished my undergrad in sport management. And was able to score some pretty good internships, one with the Buccaneers, just kind of doing different departments, see what I liked and what I didn't. And then worked for the Orlando Magic from 2015 to 17. So that's where I fell in love with Orlando. And
kind of seeing where this leads up to you have a good bar in Tampa and Orlando. That's cool.
For sure. So I got stationed in Tampa at MacDill Air Force Base. So I'm originally from Rhode Island, and a place like Tampa was just something you saw in movies.
Yeah.
I'm from this white bubble, boring town, but
yeah,
it's great in the summertime. But if you're not vacationing there, the rest of the year sucks.
It's probably cold.
Very and miserable.
Yeah.
Nothing to do. My warm weather theory, where they have the best sports fans. And Chicago, New England, there's nothing else to do.
Exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of time to just go to the games and try to stay warm somehow.
That's all there is to do. So your whole year.
Yeah.
Like Miami, though, they can't even show up on time during the NBA Finals for the Heat.
Yeah.
LeBron's there, so they got other stuff to do. But I digress. But no, I fell in love with Tampa. I met my wife, who basically born and raised there. But my time here in Orlando, working for the Magic, I had my dog Clyde. He's that one, the black one in the logo, R.I.P. But, the new dog, Bonnie, she's underneath the table right now. You'll get to see her, hopefully.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's kind of a demon. But I lived here with Clyde at 55 West. So, you have to walk your dog multiple times a day. And I come home from my lunch break, give him a walk, but the little dog walking area on the 13th floor of the apartment complex, that gets old. He hates it. And so I try to take him out, and other than walking around Lake Eola, which is great, it'd be awesome if I could go to a bar or restaurant, something fun where he can be off the leash, do his thing, go to the bathroom, and when I can do my thing and have some drinks and have a good time, watch sports.
Yeah.
So that's really where this came from is like, this is what I needed when I was here between 15 and 17.
That's cool. And I actually have a similar kind of background, and there's a reason why I've been so drawn to Pups Pub. I had moved here from Jacksonville, where there's another dog park bar up there. So I used to go there all the time because I've always worked kind of remote in some sense since I got out of college. And so I'm usually just doing stuff on my laptop, kind of wherever I want to be. And I've had my dog now for about 2.5 years, and being able to just take him and kind of let him off leash and run around while I'm doing some work is a game changer. I mean, usually he's just kind of hanging out at home and bored, and I take him out when I can, but to be able to take him out and let him run around and do his thing, I mean, that's a huge perk for me as a dog owner.
And that's just it. I mean,
awesome.
You hit the nail on the head. It's, you go to a dog park or a dog beach or whatever it may be, you the person, you're bored after 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what am I going to do at Davis Island Dog Beach? It's like, all right, well, he's tired and now I have nothing to do. Versus going to like a restaurant where you can have your dog like on a patio, but they're on the leash, they're pulling, and then they get tired and they just lay down and they're like, miserable, I want to leave. So we really wanted to create a place that was the best of both worlds for both the pups and the people.
That's a great point. It's kind of, with all those other examples, it's always kind of like either you or the dog is compromising.
Exactly.
But with something like this, you're both super happy.
That was the idea, yeah. So I love hearing that, people like you are working from home at the bar and, maybe having a, cocktail a little bit early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great excuse.
We call them dog tails at Pups Pub, no big.
Oh, yeah. My dog's a big drinker, too, so it's great for him.
We got big water bowls.
Yeah.
21 and over.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's of age. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've been following the opening of Pups Pub Orlando for a little while now, even before you guys opened, because as soon as I heard about it, I had been hoping there was something like that here when I moved here, and there wasn't yet. So a question I have for you actually is, I'm kind of curious why you think there hadn't been one yet. I'm sure you probably have a pretty good idea of the landscape of that whole thing. Do you have a good idea of why you think there was not one here yet, and how were you able to do it?
So dog bar concepts as a whole are still in its infancy. So you've had a few that have been around. I mean, the longest we could find was like 6-7 years. But even those were more like dog park first, that you could have like beer and wine at.
Right.
So it was a little bit easier to do. But, with anything, government agencies are far, far behind the innovative ideas like the dog bar. And so there's a lot of unknown.
Right.
And so whether it be zoning, permitting, liquor licenses, health code stuff, I mean, there's just layers upon layers that you have no idea about until you're going through the process. And I know that a few different dog bar concepts had attempted to enter Orange County. And, I saw some of their mistakes, like, one of them tried to open up in a residential area, which why would you want to do that anyway? But, for us to be the first to come downtown, to my knowledge, we're the first dog bar concept to attempt any downtown market. They've all been more on kind of like the outskirts because and I'm just making assumptions here, from my research, it seems like these other companies were more worried about square footage. So they wanted to have big open, like a dog park field, and that was more important than location. So for us, we wanted to offer that, but centrally downtown within walking distance to those dog-friendly apartment complexes. So we're the first to my knowledge, that has ever even attempted to do that.
So I haven't been to the Tampa location yet, actually. I'm definitely going next time I'm in Tampa. Is it the same kind of thing down there? Is it in the kind of downtown area where it's walkable, or was that more outskirts?
So first off, your VIP, very important pup, membership does work at both locations.
I'm glad to know that.
So you're good to go.
Awesome.
Still VIP status.
And my dog was on the VIP list before y'all even opened, by the way.
I love that. So in Tampa, we have a fantastic location. It's right on Kennedy Boulevard, which is, if you know Tampa at all, it's like these, like Orange Ave, Kennedy Boulevard are like kind of the same.
That's awesome.
It's just not in downtown. Now, granted, Tampa is quickly developing, but their downtown really isn't that big yet.
It's kind of true. Yeah, it's still a little more like spread, and there's different distinct areas, but it's kind of. I think it's going to be kind of all downtown eventually.
It's going to be insane. I mean, once Channel Side connects to Ybor and all that. But for the meantime, we're in a great spot. We're in what's called Soho, South Howard. So that's like I'm sure everybody's heard of like McDitton's and Saloon. All
Love
places.
McDitton's.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
When you're 23.
I may or may not have been down there a few times for Gasparilla, and usually McDitton's is the move.
That's where you end up.
Yeah.
You don't start there. You end up there.
See, that was my mistake.
And then you don't remember most of it. And that's okay. That means
Also guilty.
But no, we're in a great spot. But what we've, and to be fair, like we still got a great deal. We're in a great location. We get a ton of vehicle traffic, but we're still kind of a destination. We're still in Soho. Parking's not awesome. So we're happy that we were able to get our foot in the door, so to speak, really prove the concept, our branding for Pups Pub. But with the success of Orlando already, it's clear that downtown is
the way to go. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So to put it in perspective, in Tampa, it took about 6 months to get to 1,000 members, which was phenomenal. That was ahead of our projections. We're already 910 members at our location here in Orlando. We've only been open for a month and a half.
Another little highlight that I'd want to give is y'all had like a VIP opening party, and I'm pretty sure you set a limit of like 100. They said, and hit 100 for like the opening party. So like 100 VIPs.
That was something that I was really excited about. And again, this is my passion, like branding and events and marketing, all that fun stuff. So for Tampa, to try to get some buzz, we did a little bit of paid marketing, but a lot of it was just guerrilla marketing. Like, who can we, with, influence, like pupfluencers.
Yeah.
Was people that we were going
That's
after.
a hilarious
A lot
concept.
of dogs have a lot of following.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Bonnie's got her own Instagram account, at Bonnie Running Wild.
I'll put it in the description or the show notes.
It's a good follow. Yeah. She's had more followers than me since like day one.
Yeah.
I'm not really on social media because I do the business stuff. But what we were trying to do is establish all of our local dog partnerships. So doggy daycare really wanted to get a good dog trainer. Shout out to Revolution Dog Training. They actually have trainers. Amazing. So Erica, she's the head trainer with that company. Like she trains all like the Buccaneers players' dogs.
Oh wow.
She's like FaceTiming with Gronk and his dog. It's hilarious. I'm still trying to get Gronk over to Pups Pub. Let's go.
Yeah. Gronk,
dude.
if you're listening.
But no, some of the Bucs players actually became members kind of organically, which is cool. But just, again, trying to get as many people with following. We offered 50% off if you signed up before we opened. Give some sort of incentive.
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
For sure. That's the way to do it. And then I'm all about, that loyalty, lock them into that price forever. I mean, unless they cancel. So some of our members in Tampa, they're paying like almost nothing, but because they were supporting us from day one, and then I'm fine with that. So really push that. And our goal there was to sell 50 annual memberships before we opened. And it was a struggle.
In the Tampa location?
Tampa location. Mm-hmm. So that was the goal in Tampa. And it was kind of a struggle because it's hard when you're pitching somebody a idea. Like there isn't an Instagram that they can go look at and see the location. So what we started doing towards the end, were like the last 2 weeks before we opened, we just started inviting people to the bar.
It's a good idea.
Like, hey, look at it. Like this is what they're like, what? Like dogs off the leash? Like,
especially if you haven't seen that anywhere else yet. I mean, it's literally, like you said, it's just an idea, and you're just selling them kind of an idea. I mean, with
turf inside? What?
Yeah.
What happens if they pee? You spray it down.
Yeah. That's the same thing as a regular dog park.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So like that was, but we got there. We hit our goal. We did a red carpet event. I was really excited about doing that. Had all of our partners there. They were all set up shop. They had like swag bags, all the, liquor distributors, they were hooking us up. So, it turned out to be an awesome event. Of course, did the video, and then we were using that to promote what was going on, and really got that ball rolling. And, we were selling memberships like $250 a month, which is great. Orlando.
Yeah.
So I knew that formula worked well in Tampa. Wanted to kind of do that bigger and better here in Orlando. And the goal was to sell 100 annual memberships before we opened. And we did that in like less than a month.
Yeah.
I mean, We ended up selling like 150 annuals and then 406 total before we opened.
That's insane.
But it really just goes to show that this was a need for the Orlando community, but more importantly, downtown.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. Within 2 blocks of our location, there's 3,200 apartment units that are all dog friendly.
Yeah.
And like a half a mile, there's over 10,000.
And you mentioned that you had the experience living here, kind of being around Lake Eola. For anyone who lives downtown, I mean, you see dogs everywhere. I'm out walking my dog all the time around Lake Eola and stuff. It's such a dog-friendly downtown. It's crazy that there wasn't something like this before. I think y'all really hit a gap that was there.
Oh, for sure. So warm weather places like Tampa and Orlando, I mean, they're just naturally a great spot for, pet-friendly cities. And through our research in the last couple of years, it's kind of fluctuated. But Tampa and Orlando have been like top 3, top 5 every year, because they have to be. Business owners are needing to adapt. I mean, so my wife, Sheila, she is a very successful commercial real estate broker. And she's sat with SPP, that's Jeff Vinnick's group. And, a big part of their Water Street development was that they need to focus on it being very walkable and dog friendly.
Yeah.
So everything that he's doing, I mean, this is Bill Gates. I mean, these are $1 billion projects. And they're like, needs to be dog friendly.
Yeah. It's a huge thing.
Because everybody, when was the last apartment complex you saw that wasn't dog friendly?
You're going to lose major potential people, a lot of them.
The first thing you see on their website is a cute young couple with a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
It's the normal. I mean, especially with how many people are like working from home or hybrid model now, you can have a dog as a busy professional.
100%.
And that's the kind of market that's living downtown.
So that's we're very excited. Hopefully even beyond Orlando. We're looking to go into other Florida cities, but I see this in every warm weather city being successful.
Yeah, I think so too, especially the more you flesh out this concept. You mentioned that it was kind of a new idea for Tampa. Obviously with Orlando, you could look back on I looked it up. I looked up the Pups Pub Tampa, even though I hadn't been there. And I was like, oh, that looks awesome. This is going to be wildly successful. So the more you can see that history and see that the company has done well in other places, it's going to be probably more and more successful each place you go.
That's the idea. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to take a step back and kind of dig into a few things. One thing, you mentioned that you had kind of the sales and marketing background and that really played into the importance of the branding a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about just the ideation process of the branding for Pups Pub and kind of like going through that, thinking through the brand, what was important to it, and what did you want it to look like from the beginning?
No, for sure. So, I had quite a bit of education now. So thanks to the Air Force, GI Bill baby.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of that. Like I said, I went back to school for sport management, which you wouldn't think is a ton in like sports and marketing, but a lot of what I learned with these huge brands that sports are, everything that they do is about brand validation.
Exactly.
So
you're trying to bring more people in the door.
Exactly. And they're very selective in their partnerships. And, at that higher level, it's an extreme example, but, I learned a lot from those experiences, especially working with the Magic. So, when I went back to school, so basically, not to get too personal, but me and my wife, we got to a point where I'm living here in Orlando. She's in Tampa. And she's like, look, one of us got to move. And she's like, guess what? Not me. So happy wife, happy life.
Smart man.
I bought stock in Sheila really early, so I think it really paid off.
Yeah.
But no, so I was like, all right, well, I have options. So I was able to go back to school for my master's, and I got a master's in entrepreneurship.
Oh, very cool.
And University of Tampa has a phenomenal program there, and basically they take you from inception of an idea to pitching it to like a Shark Tank.
Was your idea for the class Pups Pub?
It was not.
Okay, so what was your idea?
It was not something I was an expert in, which you learn really quick, like you shouldn't be doing this. I still think it was a cool idea. It was like into e-gaming.
Okay.
So, how they sell out these like giant arenas now.
It's insane.
Which I'm not a gamer. So I didn't really know the space. I just thought it'd be cool to have like almost a Top Golf version of that people could go to.
Oh, interesting.
So like these esports clubs have kind of popped up since I had this idea, which are not doing well. So I'm glad I didn't ever put money into it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to try to capitalize on, I think, because it's not necessarily inherently a social thing.
Right.
And insofar as going out to do things, I think it is in the sense that you kind of do it from your home and you interact socially on it. But I think it's probably difficult to strike that like going out and playing it socially kind of thing.
Thanks for shitting on my thesis. I mean, cool, man.
I'm so sorry.
No, I figured it out pretty soon. But no, it was a lot of fun to go through it, and I learned so much about just writing the business plan and going over the financials.
Yeah.
So I was able to get that recipe. So after I got out of my master's degree, I started back into sales. So I know I'm good at sales, and it's quick, easy money. I was actually selling solar when I was going through my grad program.
Okay.
So I was knocking doors and making more money working part-time selling solar than I had ever even made with the magic.
I believe it. I have one of my best friends from growing up is selling solar right now and is just making stupid money for our age. Like he's my age, young guy, and is just making stupid money. He's kind of a sales manager already.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity in that space.
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, I was able to train some door knockers, so I didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
They would tee it up, I'd come dunk it.
That's exactly it. If you can get in that position where someone's canvassing for you.
It was, yeah. So learned a lot through that process. But, through the customer service, that I learned like the magic, and then just the sales, the hardcore, branding, because you're basically branding yourself with the solar because you're needing to look like an expert within, 1 or 2 meetings with these people who probably put something in online, like, this person. And then I actually worked at Harbor Island Athletic Club as a sales manager there selling gym memberships.
Okay.
So, and this is like
that transfers well.
So it's funny. So my wife is very into like, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this gym job and I'm like, I'm selling gym memberships. Like, what am I doing? But I'm making decent money. And I'm like, man, I really miss the magic.
Yeah.
So I'm learning all about these like gym CRM.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this comes together.
Exactly. So I'm understanding like, okay, like, and again, I'm just kind of going through the motions and, I'm good at sales, so I'm doing okay. So right before COVID happens, we're like full on in on Pups Pub.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on the branding, like the business plan. I'm like 3/4 of the way done, and COVID hits. So everybody gets furloughed.
Yeah.
And everyone is so upset about it. Not this guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is a sign that we should be doing this. I mean, I had already sat down with Hillsborough County in regards to like zoning and like the whole dog thing. Like, okay, we know that there's dog bar in St. Pete. Like, I know it's Pinellas County, but like, what exactly do we need to do in order to get this thing going? So we had already started all those conversations. We're looking into funding. So when I got furloughed, it was like, okay, well,
time to go full force.
Let's go. Let's do this. So I was really able to focus in on the branding, and that's where the fun stuff is.
Yeah.
When you get to just start branding, like these ridiculous cups. So
these are awesome, though.
So they are reusable. People steal them. I believe
it.
They are for sale. I'm not trying to sell them, but these are our draft beer cups.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things that I wanted, to, again, just be a differentiator. Like, this is something special that you can only see at Pups Pub. And then orange being one of our main colors, like, it's just a bright orange solo cup.
It attracts attention, yeah.
I didn't even realize it when we ordered them. They kind of glow in the dark. So
do they really?
It's kind of fun. Like, if you're on the patio, like, having a drink, it just looks cool.
Yeah.
Kind of goes with, like, the neon lights and stuff. So, so that was super fun. The phrases. So I wanted, they call them like Instagrammable opportunities.
Yep.
So you'll see like, some white girl in front of like Wings in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll have that big neon sign in there.
So
I think it's the bitches running wild sign, right?
Wild.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. So I knew we wanted to do, a couple different Instagrammable opportunities. So we had the Here to Chase Tail. That's a mural on the outside of the building. With a dog chasing its own tail, so that's kind of goofy. It's kind of fun.
Funny that you mentioned the mural. That's actually kind of how I part of how I found out about it. A friend of mine had seen the mural a couple times walking by, and she was kind of just like, what is that mural? Like, what is that all about? She's like, I like it, but what is that? And then someone told her about it, and she's like, oh, I've seen that so many times. And she told me about it because she knew about my dog. And then I was like, a dog park bar, like 4 minutes from me? No way. And then you find out about it.
Love hearing stories like that.
And there's foot traffic all the time going by there.
Oh, the location in Orlando, I just can't talk enough about it.
Yeah.
So we have the Here to Chase Tail, the Bad Mother Pupper, like you're rocking. We have a mural inside. A local artist, Skell, hooked us up with that in Tampa. And then we had another guy, Christian, he hooked us up with the one here in Orlando. And then he also actually did the outside one, which was pretty cool. But my favorite and the most controversial, we're actually in trouble with Facebook right now, is our Bitches Run Wild.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I just think that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think that, girls are going to find it hilarious. And then guys, we're inappropriate or we're going to love it.
Of course.
Let's just make a bright orange neon sign.
Yeah.
And then have like wilderness and crap around it. Put a little bench and call it a day.
It's great.
And it is by far our most popular.
Yeah. I mean, I see people taking pictures in front of it every time I go. It's crazy.
Yeah. So really into that one. And I knew I wanted to trademark all these. So all these are trademarked. We have drinks of the same name. We have the merchandise. This is something that you only get at Pups Pub.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really what I wanted to push for, and what I hadn't seen at any of these other dog bar concepts is it was like, a T-shirt with their logo on it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, sure. Like, I'm not saying that's like a bad product, but would you rather have that or something that says "Bitches Run Wild" on it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. You mentioned the Instagrammable opportunities. Any day of the week that you go on like the Pups Pub Orlando story, it's just constantly people posting stuff. Like, it's such a beautiful visual picture inside of every part of the bar. I think that was part of the genius of it, right? That you mentioned the sign, and then really every part of it inside just looks so great that people want to take videos and pictures in there. And then you tag Pups Pub Orlando, and then you're getting exposure just all over the place. It's like viral exposure. I think it's really genius.
So much of our content is organic.
Mm-hmm.
And I love hearing stories of like, oh, my girlfriend was on there, and I what is this place? Like, and she tagged Pups Pub. Like, I gotta go there now. So that is one of my favorite things. So in Orlando, we tried to take some of the things that we did in Tampa well. So like that stupid orange slide. So there's one in Tampa that like there's like an outdoor patio and it just drops a level. So we put a slide.
Yeah.
So here in Orlando, we kind of took it to the next level and built a doghouse with a little slide out of it.
Which is genius. I see the Shire dogs just kind of hanging out in there sometimes, which is hilarious. There's a little like corgi I've seen a couple times that whenever there's a bunch of big dogs around, he's just kind of hiding up in the playhouse.
So Bonnie thinks it's her house. So like, Bonnie, go to your house.
It kind of is.
Kind of.
She has a little bit of claim.
For sure. No, she'll just hang out like at the top of the slide. Like, this is fine.
Yeah.
So really what I was trying to do with that is just keep Tampa alive in Orlando. But really, Orlando's going to be our flagship location. We were able to have a full-on budget, create it from scratch. It was like a printing company beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We totally gutted it, put up the high ceilings, wanted to make it feel like almost an abandoned warehouse. We have fake trees around like the support beam, so it makes you feel like you're outside because you got the turf inside. So that always kind of freaks everybody out. Like, what is happening right now? But the turf, which is really cool, is in Orlando we were able to create a custom drainage system. So it flushes, like we can control it like you would your yard. Like you can just pull the sprinkler system kind of thing. So we can flush it out whenever we want. So it goes automatically every night at like 1 after we're closed. But you can set it like whenever you want. So
that's amazing. That saves an insane amount of work.
It was very expensive.
I believe it.
But we wanted to take, we have taken very expensive and important measures to ensure that we are incredibly clean. We understand that with the dog component, we don't ever smell bad, which is tough for me. I was actually born without a sense of smell.
Hey, I can relate to you on that. I have a terrible sense of smell. Gets me into trouble sometimes.
You have one.
I have a little bit of one, I guess. Yeah.
So my employees hate me. I'm like, how do we smell it?
Yeah.
Smell for yourself. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
But we do all these things, especially my wife. Like, she's big into keeping it as clean as possible. Like, we have cleaning procedures, and we make sure that before, mid, and after every shift that we're doing things to keep it as clean as possible. So taking a lot of pride in that, and the best compliment we can get is when they come in, they're like, "Oh, this place smells great."
Yeah, I mean, you would think, I don't think about stuff like that because similar to you, like, I mean, I do have a sense of smell, just not a great one, but I don't really think about stuff like that as much, but that really bothers people if there's a bad smell somewhere. I mean,
oh, for sure.
It could be a huge turnoff. And I think the other part of that that's so genius is, like you mentioned before, there's so much unknown, especially with potential regulation. If you're taking those measures into your own hands and really like staying ahead of the ball with it, with all kinds of measures like that, it reflects really well on you as a company for when the regulation does come and they can see, oh, they've been taking measures for a long time to make sure that things are clean, things are healthy, things are good.
Oh, for sure. And essentially, we're writing this new category ourselves. My employees, they really get crazy on me where I'm like, we are the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, we're not Burger King. We're not Wendy's. Like, we're not worried about what they're doing. Like, we're the ones who are going to set the standard, and we need to act like it.
Yeah.
From every facet of the business, whether it be the fun stuff like branding or, the not so fun stuff like cleaning. And to be fair, like, there's a big learning curve in our Tampa location. We had to figure these things out, and that's why, we're so proud of Orlando, and that being the flagship, hopefully, for many more locations is, not to say that we've completely refined everything, but, from vetting every single dog that comes in, you need proof of vaccinations. We have a whole CRM system where it came in handy where I was working at a gym. So we actually used a CRM company that works with gyms. We just custom, a few items. And so, like, you, the buyer, and then there's the member.
Yeah, so it's really just subbing out a couple categories and names, I would think. I mean,
that's it.
It makes a lot of sense. It's really just because I mentioned before, I kind of saw how it was coming together with the gym thing and the CRM. And another part of that is you just learned how to get people in the door, right? Like how to sell memberships, how to get people in the door. I think that probably served you really well.
Oh, for sure. And that, not just from, marketing, but also those partnerships. I mean, utilizing what's around you and, not just establishing those relationships, but really building on them.
Yeah.
So we have phenomenal partners here in Orlando already. So like I said, I was actually brought Bonnie to Just for Dogs to get groomed today. So she finally smells nice, or at least I'm told. But she feels good. We also partnered with Dogtopia, so they do the doggy boarding. Like I said before, Revolution Dog Training. So if there's ever any issues, I'm at the bar. We're all about providing solutions.
Yeah.
Take your dog to training, come back with a certificate of training. We'll reinstate your membership, kind of thing. So
what would be a disqualifying behavior?
Any aggression,
excessive humping, maybe.
So we're not a doggy brothel. That's
yeah.
On the website. But it's true. So, like, one of the things that we get some pushback that we do require any dog that's over a year old to be fixed.
Yeah.
And
you have to. You definitely have to.
But that's the issue. And I'm not to say that just because your dog's not fixed, that's going to be humping everybody. But the other dogs smell it on them. They start to get aggressive, like the alpha male thing, especially with the boy dogs.
Yeah.
And so just to avoid that, I mean, you can't find any of these concepts that don't or that do allow
no,
that aren't
not that I've seen.
And typically they actually do it younger than us at least like 6 months.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So us going to a year, I feel like is pretty lenient. But with that said, I mean, we have the pup patrollers kind of getting back into the safety aspect of the concept is, we even have people, we call them pup patrollers, and they're monitoring the dog play. Like that's their only job is to make sure that it's super clean and safe. So I always say the same thing, it's all about the dogs being healthy and friendly.
Yeah.
So, that we take that very seriously, and we divide our dog area from our service area. So, like where the drinks are being made, there is what we call like a partition. So that's the bar, but there's no way that the dogs could ever get behind the bar.
It's a high bar, yeah.
Very high bar. So, we do all of those things very intentionally to, be as safe and clean as we possibly can.
I think those measures will serve you well going forward. One thing I would like to talk about that you kind of touched on there a little bit before is the partnerships thing. I'd like to talk about those a little bit. What have been maybe some of the best partnerships that you think have kind of served the company the best and worked out most beneficially for both parties?
I'm glad you asked because I forgot about Eola Pets. So
that one,
awesome. We love Eola Pets.
Yeah.
So this is gonna blow your mind. Dog birthday parties.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we had them from the day one, right?
I've never seen anything like the way y'all do them. It's insane.
And so it didn't start that way. So in Tampa, we knew that we were going to be, doing these dog birthday parties. So not to get off topic, but as far as the partnerships go, we had a dog bakery, so Sweet Dog Bakery. Allie, she's awesome. She hooks us up in Tampa. She's been with us since day one. And, it was more like basic, dog cake, cool, whatever. People wanted more.
Yeah.
This is not enough. Like, what else can we do? So a few months in, I'm like, all right, let's get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So without any permission from my wife, so I had trouble for this one, I bought a dog Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's the part I was talking about.
Yeah. So I get this stupid dog Lamborghini. Obviously not for dogs. It's for, like, toddlers.
Yeah.
At a weight capacity of, like, 120 pounds. And they're like, you really shouldn't go over, like, 80, but you can go to 120 if you can. Anyway. So the reason I got that one, though, is it has a remote control.
Yeah.
So we rigged it where there's like a dog bed inside. So it would there's not the place for the feet to go and that they can't like hit the pedals or anything. So we put this dog bed in this Lambo.
You imagine if you had left the foot pedals in and some dog got in and just like crashed it into the playhouse.
I mean, most of the dogs...
The little high noon can in the corner.
Most of the dogs are afraid of it. But every once in a while, you get a dog that, like, Frenchies for some reason just love it. So you throw them in there, and they're like, this is the best. So, you get their owner, like, driving it around with remote control. But the idea was I wanted it to feel like a rap video.
Yeah.
Like, okay, smoke machine, bottle service, Lambo. So stupid. So I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. So for my dog Clyde, again, R.I.P., the OG, we had his 11th birthday party. It was the first that we ever did. So we get the Lambo, we do the smoke machine, we got a videographer for it.
That's awesome.
We got some friends to come be bottle girls. So we paid them in bar tabs, and we're like, all right, so you're going to be a bottle girl for a dog.
Yeah. What was it like explaining that concept?
They're all like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird. Like, there was no resistance.
Yeah.
It was
almost like it was meant to be.
They're like, I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So we got a stripper gun with fake dollar bills, but we put my dog's face on the dollar bill.
That's awesome.
So these $100 bills are shooting out of this stripper gun with my stupid dog's face on it. We got we got the custom 3-layer dog cake. We just had like Biggie just blasting the whole time.
Yeah.
I got him a gold chain for his birthday. Like it was, so the video that you see that we have on Instagram and on our website, that's from the first celebrity VIP party.
I'll see if I could kind of overlay it during this part of the interview.
Yeah. So that was probably the thing I was most proud of because it was just so much fun to create.
Yeah.
And just the reactions from people. They're like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm telling you, like this is gonna pay for itself in like a week.
Oh yeah.
So
there's a method to the madness
for sure. So we totally revamped our party packages. And so we did 3 packages. The celebrity was the top one, and that was like you can do all these things for your dog, and you could do different themes. Party. Like we're all about it. So it was a huge success. Everyone had a great time. So what was cool is, as part of being a VIP member, you get benefits of getting invited to silly events that we're putting on. So whether it be my dog's birthday party or we do a casino night, we've done a few of those.
You mentioned that when we talked before. You said that's your favorite.
That one's definitely my favorite.
Could you tell me a little bit about that? I haven't heard about that one yet.
So we're doing another one in Tampa on the 27th, but we'll definitely be hosting one here in Orlando.
Awesome.
When the time's right. So, yeah, that one's a lot of fun. Like legit, like craps table.
No way.
Oh yeah, 2 blackjack tables, poker table.
I'm not a huge gambler, so I like craps because you can kind of just hang around the table and like play the line for a while, like get some drinks.
But what's fun about these is like you're not playing with real money. It's all donations.
Right.
And so there's prizes for the top chip holders at the end of the night. And it's all going to a good cause. But what's cool about these dealers is that, it's not for real money.
Yeah.
So they'll teach you. They'll like help you learn the game.
That's cool.
So like they'll teach you how to do craps. But anyway, I digress. Super fun.
That's awesome, actually. That's really cool because typically you feel almost like you're playing against the dealers. Like if you go out and just go gambling, it's like it's very intimidating if you don't know the game that well. They're not really out there to teach you. So that's a cool thing.
Dealers surprisingly, like they will help you. Like they want you to feel comfortable. It's the other players when it's for real money
that's
that
true.
you need to be aware of.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why I can't play blackjack just because of the other players.
Yeah.
Like, bro, leave me alone.
I feel like blackjack players are probably like some of the most intense.
If you're betting your electric bill, like maybe you shouldn't be at the casino.
Probably. Hot take. Hot take. Yeah.
Just saying. So yeah, if you're on like dollar hands in poker and you're upset about one hand, like dude, chill.
Yeah.
Maybe go find a new hobby.
Exactly.
But
play some lower stakes. Yeah.
So these birthday parties were just bonkers.
Yeah.
And, we sold like 10 within the first month, like VIP parties.
Yeah.
Those are $500 a pop.
That's
so
crazy.
People are just loving it. And since then, we've done all of these really cool themes. So, if you do the celebrity one, you get to kind of pick your own theme, and like all the bartenders want to participate.
Yeah.
So, like we've done like a hoedown one once.
How does that go? Do you come in and like have a meeting and like you tell them what you want? Like when you're picking the theme.
So typically, like you'll just so the first casino night actually came from a conversation with one of our regulars. Shout out to Chris Felix. What's up? So we're talking about his dog's birthday party, and he's like, I want to do the celebrity one. Like, let's come up with a theme. And somehow like 007 came up. I was like, bro, casino night.
Yeah.
I was like, I will let me handle like the casino rentals, but like let's do that.
Yeah.
It's like on board. So that was the first casino night that we did, was stemmed from a celebrity VIP party. So we did them simultaneously.
That's cool.
So that was a lot of fun. But these two girls, they have dogs that are named after sharks. So we had a shark party. So
nice.
Pool party. Like they went all above and beyond. They got like watermelon, like in like the shape of sharks and stuff. It was crazy.
There's something so hilarious. I think you hit on something that was pre-existing that people wanted to really capitalize on anyway. And that like there's something so hilarious about just playing up and like personifying dogs in that way. Like
100%.
I've always loved that. Like I take every opportunity that I can to do that with my dog. And people have that desire to do that. It works so well.
It's just fun. Like
it is.
At the end of the day, like it's an excuse to have a party with your friends.
Yeah.
Like you're there with your dog, and your dog's having a good time, whatever. But it's just a fun thing to bring people together, and I feel like we've been really successful in doing that and coming up with stupid ideas to do it. I mean, we had a drag show. It was so these guys had these corgis, Lemon and Beyonce, and
it's funnier because they're corgis.
Oh, it was hilarious. Like these big butt dogs. And they're just like, this is Beyonce. So we're calling this dog, there's Lemon and Beyonce. It was just crying, laughing. Like, those were probably my favorite meetings. So shout out to Juliet. She's our chief marketing officer.
Is that for both locations?
Yeah. So she came on pretty early on as our social media manager.
Okay.
Super sharp. She's also in the University of Tampa. But like basically straight out of college, her resume was like a website. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
But she just got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it just clicked.
It just made like sometimes you throw out these ideas like, and people just look at you like you're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
We are. But she was like, she speaks in dog puns now.
You need that, yeah.
It's nonstop, and like I catch myself doing it. I'm like, I gotta stop talking to Juliet.
Yeah, you see it in all the branding online now that I think about it. Like anything in the Instagram posts, it's all dog puns. It's constantly. Sure. It's impressive.
So what's cool is like I kind of started all that, and then she just took over my voice.
Yeah.
And so something fun that we wanted to do is, speaking of branding, was my dog Rafi. Ironically enough, he's our him being antisocial. He's like afraid of his own shadow. He's a nice dog. But he's our social media manager online.
Nice.
So anytime that you reach out to Pups Pub, it's Rafi like with a thumbs up responding.
That explains a lot about our conversation. Yeah.
So it's actually Juliet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's like, everybody thinks I'm Rafi. I was like, you are.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
It had that energy.
For sure.
So she's nailing it.
Oh, she's crushing
Yeah.
it. But no, she just, we just completely hit it off from day one, and she just gets it, and she's really kind of made it her own. And yeah, the dog puns are endless, dude.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, the sky's the limit with that.
We just have fun. But what I was saying is those like Monday meetings, and it's like me, Matt, our COO, Sheila, and we'll just sit there and be like, okay, we got a couple events coming up. Like, what dumb shit can we come up with for this? One of them I'm most proud of is what we did for Halloween last year. So, like I was saying, we're on Howard in Tampa, so we wanted to call it Howl on Howard. So that was our dog pub crawl, but it was dog trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
So we went the week before Halloween, not to get in the way of like the crazy Halloween crowd. And so we did during the day, went down all the popular bars, including Gadin's, and we just dressed up dogs. We had a costume contest, like the whole thing.
People love putting costumes on their dogs.
We had like almost 100 people walking down the streets of Howard with their dogs dressed up.
That's amazing.
And like people are doing matching outfits with their dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so all the some of the employee dogs, we all dressed up like Grease. So of course Bonnie was Rizzo, the bitch. And so we're like pink ladies jackets, like T-Birds jackets. It was so stupid. But like the themes, like people just have fun with it.
Oh yeah.
It was a blast. Like we did it the day and had a really good time, and we're gonna turn that into a tradition and one that we hope that we can do something similar here in Orlando too.
That would be awesome. I would love to join in on that.
Just go down Orange.
I'm sure the bars would be very open to it. There's
trick or treating.
Yeah. Damn, that's genius.
It's good times.
I think you should do it.
Oh, for sure. I need to come up with some more fun stuff in Orlando. I've been in Tampa for such a long time. So, like, obviously Gasparilla is special to Tampa. So, like, we did a pirate costume contest, and then we have season tickets to the Bucks for
Growlsparilla.
What's that?
Growlsparilla.
So we call it Gaspawrilla.
Okay, there it is.
We got our own little
That's
logo
even
and
better.
everything. But no, so like we did a costume contest, and the winner got tickets to a Bucks game.
Nice.
So it was funny. The couple who won were like on a first or second date.
Yeah.
And the guy wasn't dressed up, and he's like, "Wait, I can win Bucks tickets?" So the dude goes home, changes, comes back, they win, and they're still dating like 4 months later, and they go to the Bucks game.
That's
and
awesome.
They, like, thank Pups Pub. It was really cool.
That's awesome. You could kind of claim a little bit of help in their relationship in that sense. Pups Pub is out here for love.
It really is. Speaking of that, oh my goodness. Like, talk about a great place to just like meet new people.
Yeah.
If you're single, like you bring a cute dog into a dog park.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's some of our regulars. I won't put anybody on blast. Like, especially the girls, they will bring all of their online dates to Pups Pub.
Yeah.
It is the test. Like, does their dog suck?
Mm-hmm.
Do they not even have a dog? Like, how do they act?
Those
with
are
my dog?
important things.
And
those are like first questions to get out of the way.
100%. They're vetting them immediately. Like, does this work with my dog?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, like, cool, dude, but no thanks.
Exactly.
But
and you go there as a dog person, meet another dog person. Dog people like dog people.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, I love that. Well, another thing I wanted to ask about, we were talking about the partnerships before. You mentioned the
Sorry, I keep veering off of that. I'm just like scatterbrain all over.
I like it because I'd prefer getting off onto crazy tangents, like talking about rapper parties with dogs. I mean, that makes it more fun.
That's a good time. But all right, so partnerships.
Oh yeah, the specific one I wanted to ask you about was the Lake Eola Pets partnership, and you did something that I thought was genius and very successful. You had like a social media partnership with them where it was like a giveaway.
Yeah, so we try to do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
The more we can do with our partners, the better. I mean, some partners just like maybe don't have a very strong social media presence, and that's fine. But the ones that do, anything that we can do, to help each other out, the better. So like, that was a big part of Juliet, doing building the Orlando brand and just getting our name out there and being able to partner with very established and well-respected brands like Eola Pets has been, incredibly helpful.
They're right around the corner. I've been there a few times. People love it. It's like, it's right kind of same thing. It's right in the midst of a bunch of dog-friendly apartments and everything where there's a lot of people that like to spoil their pets. So it's
100%. And they're
natural.
A place to do it. So they give us our cakes for our birthday parties here. And then, obviously they're like a really cool boutique shop. So I was actually there today. Got some like cool designer poop bags.
Nice.
What's up? No big deal.
Yeah. Flex.
No, they got some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, they do. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. What went behind? I mean, it sounds like maybe it was Juliet's idea, or maybe a combination of everyone's idea. But what went into that particular one? Because that one in particular, I kind of watch. I'm kind of a geek for the marketing stuff, especially stuff like that. It's just like social growth kind of stuff. And I kind of watched the inception of that and saw you guys just explode on Instagram from that. And I thought that was insane how much you grew from that.
So that partnership has been super successful so far, really because of their activity on it. So, you push to do a lot of things with your partners, and sometimes, they're busy, and it is what it is. But they have been incredibly active, really helpful with us. So they, being able to collaborate with them, like, okay, what can we do? What are you willing to give away? Like, how can we promote it on both of our platforms? But really what I was pumped about is our Pupfluencer contest that we had before we opened. So that one was my favorite. So that was Juliet's idea. Because we're talking about maybe reaching out to influencers and all that. And she's like, well, what if we go out to all these dog accounts? And I'm like, I love that. Like, let's definitely do that.
It's just a better fit.
And we're brainstorming. I was like, let's make it a contest.
Yeah.
Like, let's really see who has the most friends.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. So, and we held like a Pupfluencer like sneak peek. So anybody who qualified and was able to, use their referral code enough to sell enough memberships, we give them free memberships for themselves. And then we did like a champagne like sneak peek of the bar before anybody else, like the Wednesday before we opened on that Friday. So doing stuff like that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're talking to they're like celebrities.
Yeah.
And the top dog had like...
Any divas in the mix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that was kind of like just a problem.
I mean...
You don't have to name any specific breeds.
Oh, if you want to just talk about breed, I'll tell you my favorites and my least favorites now.
You have something else that I think is a genius idea. I'm hoping I can make it on Sunday because I have a golden retriever. You do these like breed meetups. Were you doing that before in Tampa, or is that kind of a new idea?
So we've been doing that in Tampa. I'd love to take credit for that one. That's just kind of what all these dog bars have been doing. I didn't realize before we opened up Pups Pub that there are like groups for every breed. And some of them are a little more snootier than others. But for the most part, they're super fun. It's just like, it's going to be like a Facebook group. It's like Dalmatians and, because there's not a ton of Dalmatians that'll hang out. But, we just thought that would be a lot of fun. And, we did a wiener dog party. And these guys
How did that go?
Oh, it was hysterical. So we open up an hour early because they're smaller dogs. And, it's like on a Saturday. Like, it can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we opened up an hour early, and they showed up. They're dressing them up like hot dogs. It was just ridiculous.
I'm just imagining like a line of wiener dogs out the door.
It basically was. I think there was like 50 of them. And I'm just like, I'm going to step on one of these dogs. They're everywhere. But no, that was...
Someone spilled a hot dog stand.
Oh, I ordered hot dogs for everybody. I was like, we have to get hot dogs. Like, it got there like right as everybody was leaving. I was excited about it.
That's awesome. What are some other events that you have kind of planned for the future that you're excited about?
So, I don't know if I can talk about this, but why not? I'm trying to get a partnership with the Magic.
That would be cool.
So that would be really fun. I still know a lot of the guys over there, and being like an official partner with them, doing or hosting official watch parties at Pups Pub, I think would be incredible.
Because it is a sports bar too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I really want to get out there is like we got like 20 TVs. We got NFL Sunday package. Like
I'm looking forward to that.
Everything. So even if you don't have a dog, like I wanted it to be a cool sports bar, even if it didn't have the dog component.
You just gave me potentially an idea. I might suggest to my fantasy football team that we draft there.
We just had our draft last night.
Did you really?
At Tampa location.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shit got crazy.
Yeah.
And we're doing our draft for the Pups Orlando this upcoming Thursday.
Okay.
So that is a great idea, and you absolutely should post it at Pups Pub. It's super fun. We got the
throw it to the group chat.
Everything like as crazy as you want to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did that in Tampa. We're doing it here in Orlando. But that's fantasy football is really popular. Obviously, the games we were super popular on Sundays. So yeah, we're hoping that it catches on here in Orlando as well.
I think it will. I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, just being able to get together with your buds and have especially having a place for your dog to hang out while you're watching football. You can kind of camp out for a few hours. That's one of those things where you want to just hang around the bar for a while.
That was the best. I mean, to the date, our most successful night ever was when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, and the game was in Tampa.
I can only imagine.
And so we had to sell bar stools. I mean, it was nuts, and we were just slam packed. And there weren't a ton of dogs. People knew it's gonna get too crazy.
Yeah,
there was 10 dogs. There was we were at capacity.
A lot of people. Yeah,
it was bonkers. But yeah, I love that atmosphere. My point was come to the watch Super Bowl at Pups. We're a super fun place. Everybody's in a good mood. It's not one of those bars where you're gonna see fights at.
Yeah,
we're dog people.
Everyone's having a good time just petting the dogs.
Exactly. That's why we close at 11 every day. I don't want that 2 a.m. crowd.
No, you don't. That's a good choice.
Yeah. If you're hanging out with your dog at 1:30 in the morning, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah. Nothing good happens.
What are you doing? No, so we stay open till midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. But I mean, and if there's
just in time not to catch that suspicious crowd. Exactly. I think that's a good move.
Yeah. So I never wanted it to be any part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's past my bedtime.
And you would catch that being downtown and everything. I mean, me possibly on the right night.
Yeah. You're the one we need to worry about.
Yeah,
down Orange.
Probably so. Me and my dog both. I mean, we're great before midnight. You don't want to catch us after, especially him.
Yeah, right. You're probably eating Gito's pizza.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Another thing I wanted to ask you about is just some of the challenges of opening the bar. What were some of the big hurdles that you had to overcome?
So challenges to opening the bar. Holy shit, so much. So the biggest thing is funding it.
Yeah. I was curious about that.
That was something that I brought up during my master's program. You have these successful restaurateurs that are talking to you, and these, not to be mean, but these old timers who were I got this loan when I had no credit and no money, and they gave me $1 million, and then I bought all these Dunkin' Donuts. It's what?
Yeah.
What was the financial landscape back then?
Yeah.
Definitely can't do that now. I mean,
a handshake and a wink, basically.
And the guy's I had no way of paying this back. I can't believe they approved me for it. And now he's a multimillionaire. It's
yeah.
Well, that's not happening in today's environment. But so what we were trying to do is take advantage of all of our opportunities. So one of those is reach out to your friends first. And my best friend, Trevor, we were in the Air Force together. He's now doing what we did as an intelligence analyst as a government contractor. So he's just making stupid money, which he deserves. You could not pay me enough to do that shit.
Yeah. You had your fill.
More than enough.
Yeah.
And we were in the chair force. He's going hardcore, flying in the worst places. And he's home for 2, away for 2.
Yeah.
And now he's getting paid stupid money. But again, can't pay me enough. So, reached out to him and, kind of went over the business plan with him. And he loved the idea. He's like, this would be great. And, hopefully this could be not just one, but maybe multiple in the future. So I was like, yeah, well, let's get one done. Open first. And so I was lucky enough that he was the financial place to help us out. Obviously we took out loans. So we used an SBA loan and then our personal savings as well. And, basically, gave up our firstborn and whatever else.
Yeah, arm and a leg and the whole shebang.
We were able to do it now. Luckily, she lives in commercial real estate, so she was able to broker our lease.
That's awesome.
And at the time, it's COVID.
Yeah.
So nobody's touching bars and restaurants.
Wow.
So we're
perfect time to capitalize.
We're these crazy people. We're like, we'll do it.
And you're in Florida, the capital of not caring about COVID.
Well, that's what we were gambling on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, everything's shut down right now, but by the time, we sign the lease, we get the funding, and the build-out's done, we should be out of it.
Yeah.
Huge gamble.
Yeah.
Our landlord knew it was a huge gamble.
Have you always been someone has kind of a high tolerance for risk, or was that something you have?
I mean, cool. I just, what is it?
It kind of takes that for entrepreneurship. It does.
What did Bruce Arians say? Got to risk it for the biscuit?
Yeah. Dog pun.
They just fall out. I can't.
Yeah.
But no, I've always felt that way. I left home at like 19 when I joined the Air Force, and ever since I've kind of been all over the country and seen different places in the world. Like, I got outside of that little bubble, and I just knew that I'd rather fail trying than to succeed in mediocrity.
I love that perspective. That's going to be a clip.
Thanks. But no, I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with, hey, I know that I'm getting this steady paycheck and I'm content with, whatever that figure is for people. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's
just didn't suit you. Yeah.
I like the idea of, not having a ceiling, being in control of what room you're in.
Yeah.
That was big for me. So, I was finally in the position that I felt like I had an idea that could propel me to that type of success where I could, have those problems. And, lucky enough, things just kind of fell into place. And, the fact that we were able to convince our landlord, like, hey, take a shot at us because guess what? You're going to collect no money for who knows how long. In the meantime, we're ready to come in right now. So we got like a crazy COVID discount.
That's a good point.
Got a really good spot. The place that was at the location before us, they just shut the doors like less than a month before COVID even shut it down. Apparently, one of the owners was like embezzling. I don't know. I've heard some things. But they just like locked the doors.
Wow.
So the TVs, furniture, like they just left it.
No way.
So we're like, jackpot.
Yeah.
Okay. We might actually be able to pull this thing off.
Yeah.
We're not going to get approved for a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we were able to just barely squeak by budget-wise, and we were able to get open. But, even through that process, just trying to get through the permitting and, then the inspections, failing an inspection over the dumbest thing. And it's like, what are we doing? Even just getting an inspection scheduled.
Mm-hmm. What's the process of that like?
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. There's a lot of that during COVID in general and post-COVID.
That was a big part too, is that because it's COVID, everything's remote.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, I can't just, I'm a psycho. I'll just show up at somebody's door.
Yeah.
Like, hi, you're not answering my phone calls. You're not responding to my emails. Like, I'm here now. You can't ignore me. And in a polite way, like call being pleasantly persistent.
Yeah.
But if you're like, we need to get this done, so please help.
Yeah. There's this kind of magical thing that happens when you have this just amazing idea that you're 100% convinced you're supposed to be doing. And I think it just brings out this insane persistence that just makes things happen that you didn't think were possible before.
No, for sure. So sorry, my wife's blowing me up right now. She's good. She's good. But no, it's just
you can do whatever you got to do if you need to.
I'm good.
Okay. Happy wife, happy life.
Oh, could not be truer. I hope she watches it. She'll be like, "Oh, you're ignoring me." It'll be fine. She'll just hit me. We're in an abusive relationship. She beats me up. That's fine. But
whatever works.
But no, it was cool to to get to that point. But you run into all of these roadblocks essentially. Yeah. And what I've learned is there's just so much red tape, and these people don't know how to navigate it at all.
Yeah.
You know, the first person I met with at Hillsboro, when we were trying to open Tampa, you know, clearly no clue. And he's like trying to figure it out. I was like, hey, man, like, no worries. Like, can we go talk to somebody else?
Yeah.
So then we go talk to the other guy, and then we go talk to another guy. And then all of a sudden, I'm leaving with more questions than answers.
That is a common theme in entrepreneurship, unfortunately.
Yeah. So whenever you're, what do they say? You know, the first over the wall always gets bloody.
Yep.
And we get to be lucky enough to be those people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the issue with Tampa, and then also here in Orlando is just, you know, every time you feel like you get through one aspect of it, you know, there's something else. I mean, the fire chief here specifically, like, you know, they were saying, well, you need all your furniture. And we're like, well, we were told that we didn't need all the furniture, and it's supposed to get delivered in a couple days. Okay, well, we'll be back.
What?
It's like, what? And then they failed us.
What?
But it's simple things like that. It's like,
yeah.
Who cares where the tables are?
Yeah.
Like, is that really what we're going about? Like, you have the floor plan. And then the one guy was like,
they won't even give you the grace of doing or trying an inspection with it.
No, one of the guys, it's crazy. I won't name names, although I totally should because I'm a jerk. But so when it comes to like the furniture, he's like, it has to be exactly like the floor plan. And I was like, so if it's a square table versus a circular one, like, we're going to fail? And he goes, yeah. It's like, oh, dude, are you for real?
Jeez.
So we're like, all right, well, we didn't know that we needed the furniture. It's going to get delivered tomorrow morning. Just come anytime, like in the afternoon. What's he do? Shows up at 9:30 in the morning, doesn't say anything to anybody. He walks in, walks out, fails us, charges us $150.
Oh my God.
It's that kind of stuff that you're dealing with. It's like, what? Like, why are you that miserable in life that you just like have to do that? We told you it wasn't going to be ready till the afternoon. Like,
yeah.
And then to not say anything to anybody.
Almost as if he's not invested in helping you out.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's just he underestimated the psycho of us, and I called the fire chief who was on vacation and sent him all these pictures and explained the situation. I was like, I don't know why we're getting like fined right now. Like, we're just trying to get open, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm here to work with you. Luckily, he was an Army vet.
Nice.
Whole vet thing going. So, dude comes in the next day, doesn't say anything to anybody, comes in, he's in and out in like 3 minutes. And he goes, you know, I really didn't appreciate you guys calling the fire chief.
Well, you probably didn't appreciate him not passing you, not saying anything about it.
I was like, really, man? Like, you asked for this. So, not to get petty, but like, unfortunately, that's one of many stories like that where you're like, why are you making this difficult? Like, we're here to improve the city. I mean, shit, in Orlando, we got a $100,000 city grant.
Wow.
So, I mean, props to the city. They were super supportive. They're like, this is so cool. We love the one you have in Tampa.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess there's like some rivalry between the cities where like we want to be cooler. So they were pumped that
the war on I-4.
The war on I-4.
Yeah.
Shit's real.
It is.
So they're like, oh, this is cool that you're going to build a bigger, better version here in our city, like downtown.
That was the selling point.
Yeah. So
I like it.
Oh, this is great. Like, you know, we'll help you promote it. So we're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, thanks for the help. So, you know, they paid for like a lot of the murals and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to give Orlando credit. It's a huge part of why I'm here and happy to be here. They're really, really investing in the city, especially the downtown. You see construction as far as the eye can see, and there's always new cool stuff being built.
Oh, for sure. And
it's an exciting time.
And they're going to build that whole Robinson down to Lake Eola. It's going to be more walkable.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more dog friendly.
Yeah. Art Square, too. I think that's going to be huge. That's right across from y'all. There's going to be food trucks over there because, I mean, y'all can't really have food involved in a dog park, so it'll be good to have a couple options right near it.
Yeah, right now people just like Uber Eats or just like pizza, whatever. So, no, I mean, obviously the more this area develops, the better it is for Pups Pub, and hopefully, you know, people come and enjoy it. I
think so. What are some of the other things that you're most excited about going forward with the Orlando location?
I think it stems back to just educating people. Like, we're still in the beginning stages of just explaining what it is and that we exist.
Yeah, I mean, we're really only about a month and a half into y'all being open, something like that. Yeah.
So that's really fun for me. I love when people walk in and they're like, what the fuck?
Like, where am I? Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
So that for me, like, I get off on that. That's really fun.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh my God, like, what is happening right now? Or like when somebody's in there and they're like FaceTiming their friend, they're like, we're going to see this. And like, that is the best. Like there could not be better. So we're still in that phase. So really just trying to get the word out there that we're here, that we're a fun place. Like come watch football at Pups Pub, come, do whatever, whether it be like a company happy hour, your dog's birthday party, whatever it may be. So definitely just trying to build on that, getting our regulars. Like we have the best regulars in Tampa. Like these are people that have been there since day one, a lot of transplants. So, like me being a transplant myself, being from New England, like, you get people from all different areas, and like we do our own like Thanksgiving, like we'll do a potluck, and like Trevor, my buddy, he always bakes the turkey. So like we'll bring the grill to the bar, like outside it, and like be grilling like in this truck.
Yeah.
It's really as corny as it may sound, like we really have that Cheers bar feeling where everybody knows your name, except they know your dog's name.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about being a dog owner. Like, there's a tiny little dog park connected to my apartment complex that I'm just like always taking my dog out to when I'm working and stuff. And there's so many of us that know each other's dog's name and don't know each other's name.
And you've gone too long in the relationship where you can't ask.
It'd be too weird to ask.
Yeah, because
you just can't do it.
There's Max, and you're like,
yeah. You're just hoping that you never get put in the situation where you're on the spot with it. But yeah, that's how it is. I mean, dog owners are crazy people.
But
a good kind of crazy, I would like to think.
We're all kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's true. You mentioned earlier that there are potentially other locations kind of on your radar. Do you have a good idea of what those are yet? Any specific places in mind?
Yeah, so we're actually looking into St. Pete right now, downtown.
So St. Pete's awesome.
Oh, St. Pete's amazing. And again, just blowing up right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the developments, so really exciting stuff. Again, the benefit of having Sheila being at the forefront of that and being able to provide us with such amazing insight, and, I'm never afraid of like us getting into a bad deal. So that one makes the most sense. So we were lucky enough to actually get some time with one of the founders of Outback, Chris Sullivan. And, this guy's in his 70s. He still goes to work every day at like 8. He's got like a horse at the Kentucky Derby. Like this guy is unbelievable.
Just built different.
Yeah. And he, was able to, was nice enough to give us some advice, and we talked about, we met with him right before we opened Orlando, and just talking about like expansion ideas and, what not to do and all that. So his biggest, I guess for him, it's a little different than our business model, but it was all about being able to manage them all closely enough.
Right.
So it's like keep it close, so that way you are, being able to manage each location. He's like, honestly, Orlando and Tampa is almost too far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the closer you are, the better.
So that lends a lot of credibility to the St. Pete idea. You can zip back and forth between Tampa and St. Pete.
Exactly.
As long as there's not too much traffic. That traffic gets on that bridge I forget what the bridge is called, but it gets insane.
Well, there's like 3 bridges. So
it
really depends on which one you want to pick.
That one really, really long one that goes over the water, or are there a few that go over the water?
So
okay.
There's Gandy. You got what is it? There's 275, and then
are they all part of I-4? Or is
No. So I-4 is something totally separate. That's hell on earth. Nothing else compares to that one. But, but no, so like we really took that to heart, and the idea would be to be running those 3 locations, so Tampa, Orlando, and St. Pete, all very manageable. We can drive to each one and get those things up and running, and then take a look into potentially looking into other cities, maybe even out of state. My dream is Austin. I think this concept in that market,
it would go stupid.
A no-brainer.
There's a lot of space out there too.
Yeah. So we'd love that. A lot of people have mentioned Nashville. For me, the climate might be a little too cold, but I mean, because we're so much of our square footage is inside, that, I could be wrong. That could really work.
Yeah.
So
I could see it doing really well in both of those places. I've been to both, pretty recently for both. I went to Austin a couple years ago, Nashville actually just about a month ago, and they both have that super young professional market with tons of dogs and people that are out doing stuff all the time, and big bar scene. So I think that would kill.
Oh, for sure. Plus, great food. I mean, I just want to live in places with good food. I lived in San Diego briefly, so I love that city. And the weather, I mean, it's 75 degrees, perfectly sunny every single day, and everybody has dogs. The issue there would be the politics of it.
Right.
I mean, again, like dog bar concepts kind of are starting to enter that market, but they're like dog parks.
Yeah.
Serve drinks at. Like, we're such a unique
marriage of the two, like strong marriage of the two.
But we're just so, we're too ahead of the game. Like, we're just as pompous as that comes off. Like,
no, I agree with that. There's not really anything like it.
But because of that, there's no regulation of it.
Yeah.
So because we're first, and they're like, wait, what? What are you doing? If you just read it, it doesn't really make sense. But if you see it and you see all the measures that we take into place as far as keeping it clean and safe, then it makes sense. But if you don't see it for yourself and you don't experience it, it's really tough to conceptualize, especially, if you're in like this middle management spot where you're just like, that doesn't make sense, black and white.
Yeah. Well, I think having the established businesses and locations will lend a lot of credibility when you do go to make those expansions. And I think being in Florida is the perfect place to start it. This is kind of the land of just try it and figure it out as you go along and do and ask questions later kind of thing. So,
I mean, to an extent, what's frustrating is we asked the questions. We sat on city councils. We went through permitting. We went through zoning.
Yeah.
We got approval from the health department. And then it's like, well,
there's still problems.
They were wrong.
Yeah.
Or they interpreted this wrong. Or, well, this thing says that. It's like, if you guys don't have it together and everybody's telling me something different, like, who am I supposed to believe?
Yeah.
And we're not the only dog bar concept. I mean, there's a couple in Hillsborough County. There's like 14 in the state of Florida. And that's not even to mention cat cafes.
Yeah, those are a great concept too. Those are funny.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But, if you add those, I think we did some research, there's like 11 of them. So between the two, you're over 20 of these animal type, dog and cat bar establishments. But there is no category.
What's next? Monkey markets?
Yeah, monkey markets. That'd be fun. Kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that could be.
But no, like the fact that there isn't a category yet, it's complicating it because it all depends on who you talk to and what kind of day they're having.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It is.
Like when you're talking about people's lives, like this is our life. Like I'm so in debt. And I mean, if this were to ever, have an issue, it's like I can't afford to like be closed.
Yeah. While
you guys figure it out or to get fined or something. It's like you told me this was okay. The city of Orlando gave me money to do this.
Yeah.
And
I think all those things are going to work in your favor, though. And it seems like you're taking the right steps and documenting things properly. And those are the kind of things that when that comes back around, that's going to protect you, I think.
No, and we're doing everything that, again, to be as proactive as we can instead of being reactive. But unfortunately, by doing everything the right way, we're taking it in the teeth.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. It's like, no, we're trying to help you. Like, let's work together with, creating a new category for this and figure out who should be regulating it.
Yeah.
And, depending on who you talk to, they're like, that's a great idea. Or they're like, their head explodes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. It's a lot of fun.
It sounds challenging, but very rewarding.
It will be. At the end of this, just like anything else, you really learn so much in the process. And I feel like I could go to law school right now.
Yeah.
And do okay. Probably not. But, this will definitely benefit us for as our expansion into other Florida cities, but also into new states. If we can basically write a new category ourselves and set the standard where it needs to be, we're basically giving the foundation to any future states that we're in.
Exactly. You're writing the blueprint so that you can hand it off to the next set of states because the regulations will be slightly different, but if you can literally give them the blueprints and say, hey, I know y'all don't have this yet, but in Florida, this exists in this way, and we were able to we were able to come to an agreement with the state of Florida and make it work in this way. How do we figure this out? I think that's the way to do it. It's a really cool thing to be on the precipice of.
It's not fun in the moment.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hopefully it will be very rewarding at the end.
I think so. I like the perspective you have on it. And I have a couple different questions I usually ask. So the first one that I usually ask is, you've been in this for a couple of years now with Pups Pub, and then of course you had all the things that went into your background before. If you could, I guess just in the general realm of sales, marketing, and business in general, we could kind of stick with that topic. If you could go back in time and tell a young Alex as he was getting into all of this, having the wisdom and the knowledge that you have now, a couple things for him to do differently, what would be a couple of those things?
So the first thing that comes to mind is have patience, because I've always had the mindset of I can do this better. You guys are stupid. And, don't tell me to shut up and color.
Yeah.
So I joined the Air Force. That was smart. But, it really, throughout this process, everything happens for a reason. You're in this gym job, which you never thought you'd be in. And yet you're learning such a valuable skill for your future, which you don't even know exists yet.
Quick tangent on that. This feels like a thing I have to bring up. It's just so aligned. My background is actually right out of college. I was a personal trainer for a while until COVID hit. So I was working at a gym, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, the gym closed. I was like, I can't train people anymore. But here I am, and this is not the only thing I do, but here I am doing something where I'm having these one-on-one conversations with people. And I actually credit a lot of that to the experience I had personal training. So I thought that was an interesting kind of concept there. There's a lot in the fitness and gym industry that can teach you a lot of stuff that applies to other things.
Oh, for sure. And I just thought it was funny. I worked a lot with personal trainers when I was at the gym, and I was like, you guys don't understand what field you're in. You're in sales.
Mm-hmm. You absolutely are.
Because if you can't sell this, you can be the most jacked personal trainer, the most knowledgeable. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
If you can't sell your product and your services, then it doesn't matter.
Another quick tangent on why that's so true. When I was getting the job, it was this huge personal training program of 45 of us. And so the huge program, kind of one of the top in the states that I was going out, or in the state that I was going after. So they're very scrutinous in who gets to be part of the program. I actually failed my first interview because I came in with the perspective of just flashing as much of my fitness knowledge as possible. And I didn't get the job, and I asked them why. And they were like, that's not what it's about. It's about how well can you deal with people and talk to people. So I came in a little bit more relaxed, took the chip off my shoulder and just relaxed and talked to them and got it because of that. That's exactly what it's about.
No, it's awesome. But yeah, just kind of going back to have patience. Everything happens for a reason. And, maybe give your boss a little more credit than you are, because you don't fully understand what exactly is going on behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm behind it by myself, no, not by myself, I don't say that, but you're behind it, you're like, oh my God, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And there's certain things why put that stress on your employees?
No, there's no reason to.
It's not even
it's something you signed up for.
Exactly. And I think, being on the other side of things, growing up and being, part of a corporation or whatever, it's not, they would only put more burden on you if they did. There's no reason for you to be informed. It's not that they're withholding information from you. It's just, you're not privy to it. It's not going to help you to understand the big picture.
Yeah.
And that's
it's not going to help you to take on the stress that comes with some of those things.
So that's what I would tell my younger self.
I like that. And then the other question that I have, so the show is called Profession Session. And one thing that I think a lot about in this show, because I kind of have this perspective of, being in the entrepreneurial space myself, I have the perspective that really anything can be a profession. I think you're a great example of that. You're basically pioneering a field is what we talked about today. So I have the perspective that really anything can be a profession if you conduct it the right way. So I'm excited to ask you this question, having that kind of unique background that you have. What does it mean to be a professional to you personally?
So for me, it's pretty simple. Do what you say you're going to do. And I know it sounds like old school, like handshake deals, but if you surprisingly enough, like especially now that we own Pups Pub and we deal with a lot of vendors and contractors, and the lack of accountability is baffling and incredibly frustrating. It's like if you pay for a service, it's like, hey, we need to do this, and then they do it and then it fails. Okay, well, come back and fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're busy. I already got paid. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
That, to me, I think is the most unprofessional thing you could ever do. So
You can't build a lasting business that way.
you can't. So for me, it's that simple. If you are getting paid to do something and sometimes it may not go exactly as planned, you finish the job.
It's what you signed up for.
Hey, we agreed on this, whether it be for money, whether it be for a trade, whatever it may be. It could be something very simple. If you say you're going to do something, go through with it and actually do it.
Yeah.
That, for me, is being a professional.
I love that. That's a great answer. One of the best I've gotten.
Thanks.
So thank you for that. And I mean, with that being said, that's the last question I have for you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
So, Pups Pub Orlando
Yes,
is officially open. VIP memberships are for your pups. They just need to be up to date on their rabies and parvo vaccinations. Just show proof of that. If they're over a year old.
It's a clean place.
Yeah. If they're over a year old, they got to be fixed. And most importantly, they got to be friendly, play well with the dogs off the leash and with other people. It's a super fun time, 21 and over. We got the bar, full liquor bar, all the stupid drinks. Good times. The bitches running wild, delicious. The Bad Mother Pupper is what I came up with. That one's, it's fire. Jameson and Mountain Dew. It's diabetes and
I got to try that one. That's nuts. I didn't know about that.
it's delicious. Everyone gives me shit because that's what I used to drink. So I still drink it. So who am I kidding? But no, super fun place. Bon Bon, you want to make your appearance?
Oh, yeah. Let's show her.
Come on, Bon Bon. I'm waking her up from her nap.
She's been fantastic this whole time. What a trooper.
This is the bar Pupfluencer.
Yes. She's on the shirt.
Oh, she's on the mural. She's rocking her Here to Chase tail bandana. It's all messed up. You're grunting.
Well, let's wrap this up so she could go get a nap. Bonnie, thank you for being a trooper. And Pups Pub Tampa as well if you're in Tampa. Pups Pub Orlando if you're in Orlando. My guest today has been Alex Wright of Pups Pub Company. Alex, thank you so much for being on here. This has been a real pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for tuning into Profession Session. I'm your host, Brody Vinson. Stay tuned for new episodes every week and short clips of deep dives into specific topics that I put out on different social media channels. We could be found on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, all major podcast platforms. You can find my guest in the details of this video or podcast. And if you happen to know a young standout business owner, professional, or entrepreneur that you would think would be a good fit for Profession Session, DM me or get in contact with me anywhere and just let me know. And they could be the next to tell their story here. Until next time, again, this has been Profession Session. Stay focused, stay hustling, and stay networking.